What are we doing?
It's the worst day of the year here.
It's the worst day of the year?
Yeah.
Why is it the worst day of the year?
Because we're gonna see how shitty my car is.
What do you mean?
We're gonna weigh it.
We're gonna weigh it?
And measure the drive shaft.
And we're gonna measure for it? Yeah, okay, so I think we should let the people know. We had other plans. You know, we were planning on doing some fuel system stuff and some wiring stuff, and we were really planning on getting more done, but we didn't. So we decided we would do something instead of nothing.
Yeah.
We would do something.
Well,
right?
If we're really honest with the people, after we hurt your car and we sent the heads back, well, not back. After we hurt your car and we gave the heads to Gerald, and then he got them back to us, and then we were working on your car, but then we had to make a trip.
What kind of trip?
A business trip.
Where to?
We went to Vegas for like 48 hours total, but we just got back yesterday. So we haven't had, like, it's gonna seem like, well, you've had all this time since the last time that you made your video, but we had to go do something. But you'll probably see more of that in the next video.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. But in the meantime,
but we got
we're still waiting
until that.
Yeah, and we're still waiting on the rest of the parts for your car so we can finish it.
Well, we ordered the fittings and stuff for the fuel cell, and so it needs to be plumbed and wired, and we can't do either of those right now. Correct.
Right, so we're just going to do something fun.
Fun for you and devastating for me. I'm going to go into a deep depression after this. Because in my head I have the coolest race car ever, but probably the heaviest race car ever. And it also doesn't have any wiring in it or any plumbing.
It's still a cool race car, and it's still your race car, and that's what makes it so cool. But, you know, to be honest, this isn't the, you know...
It's not a Fox body, so it's not...
On cars like this isn't the best, day of the year for stuff like this, because when you measure for a drive shaft, you find out just how far forward your motor is, and you find out just how heavy it is on the scales. But we're gonna make it fun, and it's gonna work either way. You know what I mean? We'll make it work no matter what we got to do. So.
And thankfully for the small tire stuff, the motor measurement isn't as crucial as the big tire stuff.
I think it is, but the experts in that field believe that it's not as crucial. So
I could see it not being as crucial, like still pretty crucial, but not as crucial because the big tire car needs more of the weight on the back, I feel like, than the
shake tire. You know what I mean? The big tire shakes with the motor far forward. But I feel like on a less than stellar surface, I think the motor placement is going to play a bigger role than what people think. But right now, judging by the, you know, racers and cars that are out there on the small tire stuff, hell, I think that you could just work harder than most of them and outrun them. So.
Well, that's why I like the small tire stuff, though, because it's not everything about money, you know? It depends so much on tuning, which you're good at, and driving, which we think I'm good at, but I mean, we shall see, because I'll jinx it and I'll do a crash or something.
No, you're not going to be a crash.
If I am, I'll come back and, like, replay the ones where I'm like, I'm a bomb driver. And then I'll be like, Meh. What are we going to actually do? We're going to put it on these, put the cinder blocks down, and then put the scales down, and then put the car down.
We're going to put the cinder blocks, yeah. You'll probably want to lower the car a little bit further so you can get the cinder blocks perfect.
Well, on that side I put the cinder blocks like right here.
Okay. Oh, I got you. But yeah, get the cinder blocks kind of in place. And then we'll put the scales down. And then we'll lower it down, set it about what ride height is going to be, and we'll get a rough measurement on the drive shaft. Right? Right? Right. Why are you... What's with all the sighs?
I'm anxious.
Why?
Because all you've been doing for the last week is looking at small tire cars online and complaining about how heavy they are and how shitty the motor placement is.
This is true. This is very true.
And now I'm going to outweigh and outmeasure all of the ones that you've been looking at. I don't know how shitty they were.
But you have to remember, I'm a Debbie Downer when it comes to that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not positive about any. I'm always like, wah wah, you know.
Yeah.
To
Whoa.
What?
You didn't do a joke.
I sure
Mr. Crow
didn't.
was like, boing.
I sure didn't do a joke, did I?
No. We're like 20 minutes into this deal.
Well. I guess I'll have to do a good one then, huh? What kind of joke? We're definitely done with Halloween. I'm not doing any more Halloween jokes. I'm not doing any Thanksgiving jokes. We're moving on. Christmas?
Yeah. I guess.
What nationality is Santa Claus?
White? Caucasian?
That's
Well, I don't know.
racist.
Have you gone to Target? Because they got all of them.
That's He's North Polish.
How awkward.
I feel like you can kind of make up for motor placement with motor height and
I'm like,
and with energy in the front suspension. So if we can get the front suspension to move, and we may have to get a little bit more travel out of it, but if we can get it to move and get it to, you know, to put all the weight on the back when the first point forward, then I think we'll be okay. But I think when you're talking about the elite, you know, top 2 or 3 cars in the country on bad asphalt type surfaces, yes, I think that you'll see in the next 2 years motor placement, and the car you choose to build is going to be everything.
maybe explain why, you know, like what we're talking about. Because even when you were looking around and asking people what the measurements were, people didn't understand why. Why do you care about these measurements, you know?
Okay, well, I mean, I think the easiest way to explain it would be we went to Sin City Showdown, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
It was me, Kai, and JJ. And we were on a less than stellar surface in Vegas out there. We were racing rental cars. So we were racing rental cars in Vegas on that road. And when we were at the rental place, Kai and JJ picked their cars before I could really, you know, it takes me forever to do anything, so
Yeah, you're always late.
so they were walking around looking at the cars. I'm trying to like gauge which car is going to do what, and you know, I'm trying to like, if I could have had 2 days to put it all down on paper, like I still wouldn't have been able to pick the right one.
Is that right?
Yep. So they stuck me in the car with the least amount of horsepower. So you had the Mustang and then the Hellcat or whatever, and they were both, you know, supercharged or something, and they made a bunch of horsepower, 700-800 horsepower. And the car that I was in was just a stock Corvette. And I think it made, huh?
C8?
Yeah, C8. I think it made 500 or 400 horsepower or something. It wasn't much, but it was naturally aspirated. Well, but then when we got out to the road, when we started making passes and racing, all of a sudden, that Corvette really shined. Like it wasn't even close. Like while those cars were spinning the tires and pedaling and everything else trying to catch up, the Corvette was out. I didn't have to pedal it. I didn't have to ease into the gas. You know, it was just you floor it and you go. And it, you know, it was, and if it spun, it wasn't much at all, but it was still manageable even when it spun.
It probably helped that those are like new cars and they have traction control and stuff.
Well, I'm sure it did, but still, yet all of them have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was a major difference between those three cars. Well, not really between the Mustang and the Hellcat. They were close, but they weren't. None of them were close to the Corvette.
Yeah.
And so if you look at what I always preach, which is mid-plate measurement from the center of the rear axle to the mid-plate, what that measurement is. And in big tire cars, I've learned that the further back you go, the more consistent it is. Hang on. The more consistent it is, and the more. Where's those two angles? Yeah, grab those two. The further back the mid plate is in the car.
For the front?
Yeah, put it on the left front, one in front of the tire and one behind it. Further back the mid plate measurement is in a big tire car, the more consistent the car is, the better the car works, the less tire shake you're going to have.
Does it matter where?
Yeah, put them in to where it won't roll off. You know what I mean? Put them flat though. Put the two angles down on the bottom. There you go. Yeah, they're just tire stops because the car, you know, whenever you put cars on the scales, you don't want it to move around, so I always put those on there. And I put heat shrink on them so they don't slide around. So perfect. So anyway, long story, even longer. The mid-plate measurement seems to make all the difference in the world in what I do. And then
what's the mid-plate measurement though?
That's what I was just talking about. It's the measurement from the mid-plate to the center of the rear axle. Basically, it's the measurement from the back of the motor to the center of the rear axle, which would be the same as the contact patch where the tire meets the road. And we found that that measurement means everything. So over the years, we noticed that as we had trouble making the cars work, and with the big tires, as the motor went further back, you know, my first car was like 98. Then we went to, we tried to move it back a little bit. We got to like 94, I think. And then we got the Crow Mod. It was 90, or it was built for a Pro Nitrous deal. So it was like 86.5. And you could go a little faster without shaking the tires. My original car would only go 440. Any faster, try to shake tire. 450.
Your original car was still 98 when it was ladder bar or whatever?
It was 98 when it was ladder bar. Then when we went 4-link, I think we ended up getting to like 94 when we moved the turbos back. But it's weird that you say ladder bar. That's really weird because that seemed to make a really big difference. When we went from ladder bar to 4-link with the 94-inch mid plate, it didn't work as good. It worked better with glue on the racetrack, but didn't work as good on a bald street. It's weird. I didn't even realize that. The ladder bar
Works better on the street.
I think that I think with the motor forward as far as it was, I think, man, you just blew my mind, Jackie.
Great, because mine's a
You just blew my
4-link.
You just blew my mind. Well, no, yours isn't a 4-link like mine. Yours is like a Mustang 4-link or like a G-body 4-link. So I think it'll work. You can make it work a lot like a ladder bar. But what's crazy is that you're right. With ladder bars, it seemed to work okay on a bald street with the motor so far forward. And I had a lot of energy in the front. I had a lot of travel, etc. And it worked okay. Then
Wasn't zip tie ladder bar the one that I raced? Not the Pro Charge one, the other one.
I don't know.
The one that I raced. I think it was. I don't know. I
I
never went
don't
under
know.
it.
Either if it was 4-link, it was really short, like a ladder bar, though. But it was just weird. But yeah, then we went to the Chrome mod. It was like 86.5, and then it worked better. It would go a little faster. It'd go teens or 20s without shaking the tire. Then we built this car, and it was 88 when we started, 88.5.
Yours, not
Yeah,
yours.
sorry, the black car, and then for Mega Race in 2017, and it went 30s right out of the box, and it was, dead considered. It would go down anything and go 30s, but then when we tried to go any faster than 30s, it would shake, and then we got really creative and we tried to fix it. We couldn't do it. We tried to force it. Remember, like we tried to make it go so fast, even though the motor was so far forward. Even though everybody had told us, "You're not gonna make that car work with the motor that far forward." We ended up breaking the whole center out of the car at the track. It shook so bad. And, it'd go 20s and 30s though, no problem anywhere. But try to go teens or O's and it would shake, and it shook the whole middle out of the car. So then we took it to the chassis shop, had them move it back to 82, and then it was like the sound and having the light shining through the clouds.
That's when the 410s and the 4.0s came.
Yeah, that's when it just instantly started going 410, then it went 4.0, and then it ended up going 399. And dude, it would go anywhere. It was, man.
But when your white car, your first car, your OG car, when that was ladder bar, are you referring to it being on big tires or small tires on the street?
Both. I ran that car on both, and it was fast on both with ladder bar.
Did it shake though?
It only shook if we were at a really good track. Or like when we went to Bridge Street in California, it was really, really good. I wasn't used to that, and then it would shake. But
On a small tire?
on a big tire. On a small tire, it would just spin.
So that's why I think maybe it's not as crucial. I'm sure it still matters, obviously, but I think maybe it has a lot to do with a big tire shake.
And that's, you could be right. I feel like the big tire and the small tire are a lot closer or a lot more the same than people think. I just think they react different to the same problem. So
You don't really shake a small tire though.
right, but where the big tire will shake is where the small tire will spin if the motor is too far forward.
But
So
what if you don't have a ton of horsepower? To have so much horsepower that it would spin.
that's a good. See, these are all things that I'm not 100% sure about. It's just a
These are all the
theory.
things that we are going to find out.
Yeah, it's just a theory. That's what we're doing.
Not just me and you, and all of our tire
Yeah.
friends.
No, yeah, that's. Yeah, everybody on YouTube with us is going to figure this out. But I think that, we have a new chapter in our thing here, which is going to asphalt and back of the track or, asphalt street stuff, dig or die type stuff, whatever it is. And I think that we're going to do it two completely different ways. You know what I mean? We're going to, I think that your car can work on that stuff, even though it has a further forward mid plate than what I would really want. I just think it's going to need a lot of travel, probably more than we got now, but we'll figure that out. And I think it's going to need, a lot of energy in the front to get the front end up. But I think if you could get the front end up and make it hook in the first 0.4, I think it'll be okay. But
Well, and thankfully, I don't have no turbos or superchargers.
Yeah, that's
and all
the other
that
thing.
Heavy shit up front.
yeah, so here's the weird thing. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. On a big tire, what's weird is that the turbo cars need the motors way back. The blower cars can have the motors even further back. In comparison, like most of the new Pro mods that have been built in the last 2 years, most of those cars are, 80 to 82 for a turbo car, and then 78 to 80 on a blower car. Some of them are even further back than that. But what's weird is the nitrous cars work better forward. So if a turbo car is 82, a nitrous car will be 85 or 86, or 88, even 86 and a half.
But how much do your turbos weigh?
55 pounds a piece?
Yeah, so that's 110 pounds, plus all the piping and everything that I don't have.
Agreed. But in a
Plus,
pro...
those Pro Chargers is heavy.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
right on the crank.
Yeah, but that's why those motors can go back even further, you know what I mean? But, it's all, to be honest, it's all my opinion. It's all a theory right now because we've never had a top small tire car on asphalt to really try and prove any of this stuff. So we're gonna prove it though, and we have another project that we're working on that's coming into the shop soon that we're gonna go. You know, we're really gonna try and go for the whole deal with that one, but. But I think that that's what a lot of people don't understand. People think we're crazy for running the small block with nitrous in your car, but they don't understand. Everything we do in this stuff is well thought out. Even though it seems like, whim. Oh, she did it on a whim, or she was crazy and she just wanted to throw a nitrous motor in there and blah blah blah. No, this is stuff that we've thought and we figured and we came up with this plan. So. When we realized we couldn't get the motor further back than it is with the factory firewall, and a lot of the stuff that she wants to do, like dig or die and all the street race stuff, like some of them have a stock firewall limit. So, what?
It's exhausting. If anyone will ever throw a race, a no Mustang race, I'll go for every single one of them. Like,
why? What's wrong with Mustangs?
It's just so annoying. Like.
They're a really, really good car from the factory, they really are. I just can't.
It's just when you go to a small tire race and you like put your hand in the bag and you draw one and then you like wait and then they call you and the guy's like, what do you have? And you're like, a Cadillac, what do you have? They're like, oh, a Turbo LS Fox body. And then I go to you, and you're like, who'd you draw? And I'm like, a Turbo LS Fox body. And then, like, when it's my time to go, I'm like, so who am I racing? That guy, or that guy, or that guy, or that guy, or this guy? Or, like, anyone besides me and him,
I understand
it's
totally.
Exhausting,
But, okay, so with that in mind, we can touch on that. So,
but I feel like
think about it.
Do that because there's certain races that have a stock firewall class. Like, the rule is stock firewall, but the only car that can get the motor back to that location and it be a stock firewall is a Fox Body Mustang.
Yeah, the Fox Body Mustang is, it's about, I've heard some different things. We don't have one to measure, obviously, but I've heard anywhere between 88 and 90 on a Fox Body. I know that the Mustangs that are after that, the next model or, body style, I know they're a little further forward, which is why I don't think they work as good. Yeah, and even further than that, like what Mountain Dew was. I want to say Mountain Dew's mid plate was 92 or 94. So, and it didn't work as good as the Fox Body stuff, no matter what he did to it. So, in order to make that car work good, he had to have the motor 15 inches in the air. So, but with that being said, that's the part that sucks. Is people act like, oh, if we keep the rules down, if we make stock firewall rule and all that, then it gives everybody a chance, but it really doesn't. When you do that,
it makes the whole class of Fox Bodies.
When you do that, it makes it really tough to compete with a Fox Body because what are you going to get if you're a GM guy? Like even the S10. I mean, even the S10 or G bodies are 95-inch mid plates and further. So you're talking about a car here. So a Mustang has let's say it has an 88 or a 90-inch mid plate. Okay, that's with the motor in the stock, about around the stock location, maybe back as far as you can get it. You're talking 88 maybe. So, but let's say you want to race a GM, you don't want to race a Fox Body, you go get an S10, you're a 95-inch mid plate. Even if you move it back all the way to the firewall, it's a 95-inch mid plate. That's 15 inches. No? No, it's 15 inches, sorry. That's 15 inches further than my car. Yeah, that's 15 inches further than my GTO. Sorry, that's all I can think about in my head. But it's 5 to 7, right? So 5 to 7 inches. Now, I know in my car, we went from 88 to 82.
That's 6 inches.
And the car went from...
It picked up 2/10.
It picked up 2/10 everywhere, on the street and everywhere. We came back from the chassis shop, went to the 405 show, and dominated the list, went straight back to number 1. We were untouchable. Nobody could beat us. It was insane. Then we went to America's list, and all of a sudden... There was one car there that we had trouble with. We really, really did. And
yeah, his new plate plate was like 76.
It was back there. It's
small enough.
It's rumored that his was 76, 77, 78. All I know is when you see the car, it's
if you know, you know.
It's obvious, yeah. And that was the first thing when I saw it. I looked at him and I was like, man.
If you see an in-car video of someone racing and they're crunched up in a ball, you know.
And that thing was incredible. And so, but that was the first car on the street that I'd had to mess with or had to race that had a motor back further than I did. And dude, it was insane. And you look at two different cars. You look at JJ's car versus Axeman's car. They're the same combination, basically the same car, but that is the major difference. And those cars don't run the same on the street.
One is a car previously owned by the other.
Exactly, and they don't run. They won't run within. You know, they won't run the same on the street. So, I think it means something. I think there are ways around it, and Ryan proved, because Ryan's mid plate in his red car was way forward for a while there, and he proved that you can, you can do it, and you can try to make it work, but the motor has to be up really high, and you have to work really hard and a lot of testing. So I think it can be done. Now, I do think that on the surfaces that you're going to be racing on with this car, I don't think it's as crucial like you say, because not everybody can go down every pass. So there's something to be said about just working hard and making it happen, and that's what we're going to do here with this car, and that's what I'm excited for. So let's see where we're at.
If it doesn't work, I'll get annoyed, and I'll get the stock firewall cut out of it, and I will move it. Now, I'm flexible, so I can move that thing. I'll be in the trunk, and that thing will be right here.
Right. And I think that the next two...
touching the rear end. I'll move the rear end up here, and I'll move this, and I'll sit up here.
Well, hey, look. For those people that think it may not make much of a difference, you look at that Sin City show, you know what I mean? That Corvette had a mid plate of about 6 inches, and it was untouchable.
6 inches.
I mean, you think about it, it was untouchable. So, we'll see. But and the other weird thing is weight bias doesn't seem to make as much difference, you know what I mean? So, like, those cars that have long mid plates, they can put as much weight as they want in the trunk to get the weight bias in the rear, and it's still adds weight to the car, so it makes it harder to make it go down. So, but moving forward, before we get any more disappointed down this road, but check out what I got for Christmas last year.
No, it's for your birthday.
That's for my birthday last year.
For Christmas, I bought you that park washer that makes me
That's true.
feel like I'm in a nail salon.
So I got me some wireless scales for my birthday last year from Jackie. Super cool. Before that, I didn't have scales. I was having to borrow scales from Sean. Now I got scales. And right now, we are set up on this. I'm going to lower the car down. You're going to get up underneath there, and you're going to measure that drive shaft, yeah?
Yeah.
And where are you measuring from? We have a yoke in the transmission. We've pulled it out 3/4 of an inch. And you're going to measure from the center of the U-joint cap on the yoke to the center of the U-joint cap on the third member, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Don't get under there yet. Let's make sure it doesn't. It's not going to roll off there and crush your pretty ass.
I'm just going to take the nail over here. Oh, boy. Sounds heavy.
Did you just say it sounds heavy?
Yeah.
How do you know what heavy sounds like?
It's like...
You're hilarious. Please don't fall off of there, big guy. Please don't fall off of there.
Yeah, this thing will fall off and roll backwards and just smooth take me out.
What are you doing down there?
Shivering.
Good Lord, this car is low.
Oh,
man. We haven't really got to see it on the ground.
come on, KJ. Oh, it's finally coming off the lift.
Dude, this thing is... It's coming off? Oh, no, you mean off the lift part. Gotcha. Dude, this thing is low, Jackie. Dang. Looking good. You know what's cool, though? Is the chassis is low, but the motor is not. All right. Well, you got your tape measure?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's wrong?
I'm getting claustrophobic.
Why?
What happened to my light?
What?
My light's out. Hello? Am I home?
You look like a real mechanic right now, by the way.
Piece of shit.
Man, I don't have any light. I can't even see you in there. Hang on, I'm gonna get you a light. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm so scared.
Here you go.
I'm claustrophobic. Okay. I gotta make the drive up here, you know. Yeah, this thing's gonna squash me. Holy moly.
It's a long ways up there, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm like 67 inches tall. If that gives you any reasonableness. I can measure this off my body. Like,
yeah, this is going to be the longest drive shaft we have.
this thing's right at my head, and I'm 67 inches tall.
Oh my God.
I'm already getting depressed.
We'll
Ow.
make it work. You know that. We'll make it work.
Or I'll cut it up some
Well,
more.
that's what I'm saying. If it doesn't work, we'll cut it up.
I'm so claustrophobic down here. In my head, it's gonna roll forward and land on top of me, and then you're gonna get a new girlfriend.
No.
Yeah.
No, we'll just put a wheelchair ramp into the shop.
There's not even any steps.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to get one for the trailer at the track, though.
Remember when I fell out of Sean's trailer?
Oh, my God, yes. You're not the most gracious gazelle.
Thankfully, they never got the
What are you doing?
I'm not a 50-year-old man. I don't know
No,
how
go
to
the other
work.
way. Send the dumb end right here on the
The
yoke.
dumb end? Why you gotta
Yeah.
call it names?
The dumb end of the tape measure is the side you don't read. So send the dumb end of the tape. Yep, right there.
Come on.
There you go. Look at you go.
Oh my God, dude! You can literally measure this thing off my body. Come out some more. Hello? Holy shit! Talking like this.
Oh my God. I didn't see. I'm gonna have to get out of here.
Yeah. Can you just don't push the car forward though?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. There you go.
Don't kill me. Oh my God, I'm depressed.
Over here.
This is upsetting. It's literally my height.
Oh my God. What are we talking here, Jackie?
Let me see.
Careful. I don't know. Why the screen
Can you
go
guys
black?
see that?
Did you turn it off or something?
No.
Okay. What is it?
57 inches.
57? And that's to the center of the yoke on the transmission?
Dude, literally, it's like 56 3/4.
You're to the part of the yoke that still has the cap in it, right?
Is it right where that dot is on the bottom of it?
Let me see here. I can't see what you're talking about.
Oh my God. Please don't.
No, on the side, not on the bottom.
Yeah, but where that bottom is like right where that hole is right.
Oh, maybe, I don't know if that hole's in the center, but maybe, yeah.
It looks like it.
Okay.
I can't see.
I'm just trying to make sure you had it in the right spot there.
Yeah, look at that. It's right at
Okay.
57.
It's right at what?
It's literally on the 57.
57?
That's depressing.
That might be depressing, but you know it's not depressing?
I don't know if I want to get out before it smashes me. Oh my Jesus. My drive shaft is literally as long as me. Oh my God.
You're taller than 57, aren't you?
How long is 5 foot?
I don't know.
No, I'm 67.
There we go.
I'm 67, not 57.
That's what
I'm a tall ass bitch.
You're a fucking
Holy moly.
giraffe.
It's almost touching my nose.
Fucking WNBA. Alright, well, we got that out of the way. You know what? Here, let me have you.
I don't need no help. I'm an independent woman.
Wow. Okay, you wouldn't even let me help you. Okay. Okay. We did, so we took the whole rear cradle out. That was the first thing we did. Took the IRS rear cradle out of the car. That had the differential in it, the struts, the brakes, the axles, and all that. There was a full independent rear suspension. We took that out, and we contacted Skyview Race Cars out of the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, Josh Gray. He makes a Ctsv rear.
Well, he made
sorry.
a 5th gen
at the time
kit where you could do the front and back cradles.
Right. At the time, he made a 5th gen Camaro to convert it to solid axle in the rear. We saw a picture of it online. I freaked out and was like, "Oh my God, look at that! We could make your car solid axle." So,
because the 5th gen Camaro is very similar frame wise and everything.
Yes. So we looked at it. We talked to Twan, and we were like, "We can do this." So we ordered the 5th gen cradle from him, and we ordered the full rear kit: cradle, rear end, anti-roll bar, 4-link, everything. He builds it with a triangulated or whatever 4-link, like a Mustang or a G-body car, factory. So it has stock style suspension. So he makes them like that for the 5th gen Camaro. We ordered that kit. I think it was really expensive, but for what it wasn't that bad. I think it was like $8 grand.
The price tag looks really expensive, but
it comes with everything.
Literally converting your car and everything's included. Like,
right.
Remember everything.
It was 40 spline axles, disc brakes, the whole deal. So, and it came with AFCO shocks, valved for his setup and everything. So, and he has done all the work on this to make it.
I'm not dreaming.
He's done all whatever. He's done all the work on this. Listen, no matter what that thing says, we're gonna make it work. I promise you. So
we did the rear cradle.
Right, and we did. It came with a Fab 9 rear end that he made. It came with anti-roll bars, shocks, everything on the rear, and Twan made it work. Made it bolt into your frame. So he had to redo the perches and the mounts and stuff. But it's all chromoly, and it was a lot lighter. I mean, it was extremely lighter. Like
hundreds of pounds lighter.
Like Twan couldn't believe it, and he was like, "I don't think you understand." And he was like, "The rear cradle by itself now weighs like 40 pounds, whereas before it was like 300." Yeah. So then after we did that, then we wanted to do the front, but the front tubular front end stuff for the 5th gen didn't work.
It was way different.
The frame rail on the Ctsv actually drops down. It has a step where it gets bigger and drops down, and that's bigger. It wouldn't work. The 5th gen tubular stuff just wouldn't work. So we were kind of upset about that. But we talked to Josh, and he said, "Bring the 5th gen cradle back, and I will use your car, and I'll make a cradle for this car and do it on a jig so that he can sell it." So it comes with all tubular stuff, manual rack, the lower A arms, all tubular, spindle mount, struts, the whole deal, long travel. And then because of the angle, and we were trying to get some weight moved to the rear of the car, so we had to move the shock tower over. So still mounts in the factory style, factory location, all that stuff. It's just a longer strut with more travel. So we did that, and then she went to the small block because we were really worried with the motor location that, to be honest with you, we were worried that supercharger motor was just going to be too much weight on the front end. So
and we couldn't get parts in, and
right,
that motor was honestly really hard to tune, and you had to baby it a bit.
Yeah, because it was stock motor, stock block, stock everything. So
we were using HP tuner, and it wasn't. I want to be able to go and race and like come off the trailer and go. And you can't really do that with that motor, at least not how we ran it.
Not how we ran it with the HP tuners and stuff. I think it'll be better next time around, but
you can probably put that motor in a car and not try to go 880s in a 4,000-pound Cadillac, and it probably wouldn't be so hard. But
I think when we revisit that combo later, I think it'll have a different result. But for now, this is what we did. And this was Jackie's idea. This is what she wanted. This is what she has. But because we were doing everything for a reason, The Nitrous motors seem to like a little bit further forward motor plate, so that's kind of what we wanted to do. We're taking a lot of the stuff that we know from big tire racing and applying it to this car. We don't know if it's all going to work, but that's the only way we know how to do it. So we know that the Nitrous motor is like a forward.
We can't re-talk this whole time.
Well, I'm just saying, the Nitrous motor is like a further forward mid plate, so that's what we went with. Now, with all that being said, we put a 10-point roll bar in it.
Well, on the weight deduction side, we did Lexan here and
Right.
on the sunroof.
Right. Oh, and the kit from Josh comes with the manual rack, and it comes with that. He makes that panel that goes in the firewall there with the bearing and stuff for your steering shaft to go through. And then we lost a bunch of weight with the stock steering column also going to this steering column.
Hey, that's my fuel tank.
Yep. Yeah, there's the old FT600 right there. So we lost a bunch of weight there. We went with the Willwood brake kit underneath to move some more weight to the back instead of having a master cylinder under the hood. Now we have the master cylinder in the car. We still have the heavy seat in it. That's going to come out. Go for something more carbon. Hey, look, it's got a full nitrous bottle in it, so there's some weight. But we put the 10-point roll bar in it. Yeah, it does. What? What do you mean? That's what I'm trying to tell you. No matter what that stupid scale says, we'll make the car work. You know what I mean? And there's still some weight that can come out of the car.
Well, we added the weight. The 4266 did not include the roll bar cage.
Right. So those are things we added back to the car. You're going to add some things back, but
and the weight of those bolts.
Right. And right now, it has radials on it, which are quite a bit heavier than slicks. So that weight will lose a little bit there too.
And there was no parachute.
Yeah, little stuff. Parachute. We have the fuel tank, water tank combination, big Weldon fuel pump. So right now, basically, the car needs fluids, it needs a driver, it needs wiring, and plumbing. So, well, let's see it.
What do you think it is? Okay, so the front ratio.
I'm gonna cry.
Is 50.76.
50?
The rear ratio is 49.24.
It's 50-50 right now?
Almost. But
what the fuck?
All of the weight that
everything we got to put in the car,
all of that.
The driver and the fluids is all going in the rear. Well, this car is going to be 5,200
pounds. Or I could be true dig or die and go no front end.
This car, wait. If we add, right now it's 50-50. If we add fuel, water, driver, that all goes on the rear weight. Yeah. So this thing's going to be with no ballast. That's what we want, man.
On the front is the hood.
Yeah.
And like a little bit of wiring.
This thing is going to be, if this thing is 50-50 right now, it's going to be 52 or 53 when it's race ready with no ballast. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now if we're not adding any ballast and it's going to be 52 or 53, that's going to put us, even if it is 32 or 3,400 pounds, even if it is 33 or 3,400 pounds, that's going to put us right on the money. So let's see it, goddammit. I'm over it.
Are you ready now?
What? Yeah, let's see it.
It's
what the fuck ever. That's not right. Is it on the lift? God damn, you just fucked up our whole video because it's not right, and I don't know what to do. We're gonna have to cut it. It's not on the lift. It's not on the lift. What the fuck?
It's not right because
thing.
The left front is so heavy.
No, it's not. What are you talking about? The left front is so heavy.
The left front is 30 pounds more than the other.
That ain't shit. They're usually 100 with the driver 150. What the fuck? It's 10 pounds negative right now in the rear, and I haven't even touched it. Oh my god, 26.
It's gonna be 3,000 pounds.
Oh my god, it'll be less than 3,000 pounds.
Right now, this car weighs less than your car does. It's not a fair comparison because your car ready is heavier than this car is right now.
Yeah, my car is 2830, 2840 on the starting line right now. And your car is 2680. 2681? Is that fucking right? Dude, this car is 50. This car is almost, oh my God. I can't even talk straight. Oh my God. Hey, high five on that. Dude, this thing's going to be a killer.
I'm so much more excited now.
Oh my God, now I'm so pumped.
I thought you were going to put it on there. It was going to be like 3,900 and I was just going to
39? No. I did, honestly, I figured it was 3,100 pounds the way it sits and I was going to be all disappointed. Holy crap, it's 2680? Jeez, dude, that's insane. And it has a nitrous bottle in it. Like, look, people are going to be like, well, you still got a lot of stuff you got to add to the car, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, we do. Plumbing and wiring, yes, for sure. It's going to be more weight than what most people think, but, I mean, we've got a nitrous bottle in there, you know what I mean? I mean, dang, and that seat's going to come out. We've got a lighter seat, lighter rear tires, like, put Lexan in the rest of it if we have to. Dude.
I'm just so happy that it's...
So I was trying to get the low angle of the rear end of the car there.
It's not incredibly heavy.
I am floored. Whoa.
Well, I saw the thing and I was like, I have one of these scales off or something. Like, there's 600 pounds missing somewhere. The
whole time that thing was saying 2680 and you weren't jumping up and down? Or telling me I told you so or whatever?
Well, I figured once I showed you, you would be like, God damn it, Jackie.
That's what I did. I was like, I've seen, this has happened before.
One of the lifts didn't come
down?
Yes,
100%. Me and Monkey have seen that happen before in here where somebody was weighing a car and they're like, look how light it is. And then we laid underneath it and the fucking lift was still on it. Yeah. Unbelievable, dude. 50, 50, 20. And look, the crazy thing is the side to side. That's nuts, dude. That thing is nuts. Like, you know how easy this car is going to be to make go straight? Wow. Wow.
And it's cool because it's
crap.
It's my real car.
There is no fiberglass or carbon fiber on this car.
You know how many times we were like, okay, that's cool, but let's just go buy a car and go race.
Because it's so heavy.
And I was like, no, like this is my freaking car.
Well, no, but if anybody knew that you could build a Ctsv with no fiberglass front end, no fiberglass fenders, no carbon fiber, no nothing. If they knew you could do that and be under 3,000 pounds, think about how many people would do that.
The full door. I didn't get the door at all.
No.
I never touched the door.
We haven't even taken the door panels off of it. Never. No. This is insane, Jackie. I have a feeling more of these cars might get built.
Oh, man.
I won't build one.
You show it.
But I want to.
No.
Okay, say bye so I can get to work on this car. I really want to hear this car run now. We need to get this car out on the street. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. How do I turn this fucking thing off so I can get started? 2680. What the